Hello everyone, this is Altar, and this segment is here to let you know that after about a year of producing content for Offworld Trading Company, Mohawk Games contracted me out to do some QA consulting work for them. This video was made during the time that contract was active. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the video. Dysiode. He's going to establish in that nice little scientific location. Gameslayer going for the scavenger. Which of these do you like better? With the idea in mind that we saw two scavenger against scientist matches earlier that both went the scavenger's way.
I could never bet against the scavenger, to be honest. But I like going in food. I like that. I like that quite a lot.
Oh, I like the food decision.
I mean, look at the price of it. That's a very good decision. I mean, if you can hit level 2 quickly, then bring it on. That's going to be excellent. But I think the important thing is to try and shut down the scavenger as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Difficult to do, but
very difficult to do. And I'm also a bit concerned. Dysiode took on a very large amount of debt in order to secure this position. $46,000 in debt is what he is right now.
I think, knowing Gameslayer, he probably would have gone for the scavenger anyway. I might have tried my luck and hoped he settled for scavenger first, and then I'd pick up that scientific spot, but I don't know. Dysiode has got a game plan, and let's hope he sticks to it.
Yeah, and he definitely had a game plan going forward. You don't drop farms at HQ level 1, 2 farms in particular, unless you have an actual game plan to go forward with. We're going to see him moving into steel now. No bribe claims available this match, by the way, which I always think of as a nice little benefit to the scavenger in the mid-game. Like, you can get aggressive against your opponent and pick up claims periodically. Not an option this time, though.
It's always nice to see bribe a claim when you're a scavenger. And, to be fair, scientific as well. I mean, they're both, compared to, well, I suppose they're about equal here, aren't they?
I'll
on
say
claims.
Claims, at least, yeah. Expansive, the only one with a larger number of claims. It is worth pointing out that, of course, the other benefit Gameslayer gets for founding later is his extra claim, which he already has access to, is using to collect, probably picked up this silicon as kind of a nice little extra touch with that claim. Just gonna go ahead and secure that for long term.
Yeah, it's always good to have your own source of silicon, especially with glass at the price it is. It gives him options to move into maybe a couple of glass furnace, which he's moved into, a couple of glass kilns there. So I think he's heading straight for the upgrade. He just wants to blast through, get up to HQ level 5 as soon as he can.
Not something I can personally disagree with. Dysiode very close, can upgrade whenever he would like to at this point. Waiting and seeing. No reason to upgrade immediately in these circumstances. It's worth pointing out this is a good decision not pressing this button immediately, because you want to have the resources to actually be able to use it.
Indeed, but he needs to get some power down. Really does need to get some power down. Gameslayer there claimed the only geothermal
Only
map?
geotherm, I believe, yes. Which also made the upgrade less priority when your opponent already has that, and a lot of these other resources, I don't see any reason to upgrade and claim them immediately at this point.
No, but he needs to get some power down this round, without a doubt.
20,000 for that slowdown strike. That is pricey.
Sly, yeah, that's. I mean, his debt now 83,000.
Yeah, and that's my big concern.
Yeah, he hasn't got any route at the moment to lower his debt in any significant way. It's a good move on hitting Gameslayer's carbon, but
Wind turbine, though.
yeah, he needs a couple of wind turbines up and quick.
I don't know if I like the wind turbine decision, because if you go solar panels, your opponent's got a lot of carbon production. Now, he's going to want to use a lot of this carbon long term, but you're kind of just raising that carbon price, maybe giving the scavenger access to more and more tools to use against you, like mutinies on wind turbines. Whereas if you go for the solar panel play, he's only got the one single silicon quarry. You drive up the price on silicon, you make the glass kilns non-viable, you do a little bit more damage to your opponent that way, instead of potentially just putting money in his pocket.
Yeah, I think a couple of solar panels would have been my preferred option, I think.
The black market is
And that mutiny, he's going to hurt. That's hurting badly. This Gameslayer's hardly any debts. He's
Yeah,
in a nice position.
This is almost a repeat in some ways of the last game we saw with just Geotherm producing nice bit of power for Gameslayer. It's not quite to that extreme because these players moved into power pretty quickly this game.
Scientific colony
But
expanded.
we are seeing the scientists struggling with debt down in that B rating, can't establish power because they're being attacked by the scavenger. And the scavenger just sitting around paying down debt very slowly. Possibly eventually going to make some money from it, but nonetheless established himself in a strong, dominant position already.
Well, that's it. I mean, aluminium's strong, carbon is strong, glass is strong. He's got cash. It's a good position at the moment, and hardly any debt to go with it. And when we going into Dysiode.
Yep, we're going to see hydrolysis reactors out of Dysiode.
Dysiode, sorry.
That's
I'm
what I've
terrible.
decided on. I know. Look, I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Dysiode is what we settled on.
Yeah, that's a good interpretation.
So I can forgive you for that. But, man, this is the other thing about a scavenger, though. If we look while we wait on this carbon auction, of all things, there are pirates and magnetic storms this game.
Wondering where the pirates are.
Well, they're not down yet. Gameslayer's holding on to them. But you have to expect that eventually they're just going to land right on top of these reactors. Now, one thing that I like about Dysiode's position, it's always nice when things coincidentally line up this way. And sometimes players even manage this kind of thing intentionally. And Dysiode might have considered it here when choosing what water to go after. He's positioned it so that he also has aluminum flowing over that tile location. He could, in fact, set things up so that if he was manually launching these, he could manually launch them behind this aluminum, make it very difficult for Gameslayer to intercept any fuel or oxygen coming down this lane. We're talking super fancy, though. Gameslayer, he doesn't like long games from what I've seen. If he can kill you, he will.
He's certainly
gonna
trying
be giving
there,
that
isn't
a
he?
go.
Yeah. He might not even get to use those pirates. I'm surprised he hasn't placed them yet. Perhaps he's waiting for the. There we go. They're starting to ship now, so maybe we'll see those pirates come down in a second. They sell it back out.
He's going to want to be careful about exactly when he places those. Likely to end up with a lot of aluminum. May have just decided it's not worth it because of the aluminum in the lane that he didn't spot. There it is, finally.
Yeah.
So, gets some oxygen immediately. We'll have to see what else he randomly picks up. I think that was another oxygen hit. Nice. Nice there for Gameslayer.
Yeah, he picked some up there, I think.
Probably
Taking
carbon
over.
and aluminum from there on.
I do like the little animation where there's only half a truck.
Yeah.
That's a lovely little touch.
No, it's good stuff. I like it. Frankly, I like the animation that there's just a giant gun there. Like, think about how large that gun is. I'm just saying, like...
They're not discreet pirates, are they?
No, not particularly. They also set up and tear down very quickly. Very, very respectable pirates, you know.
Space pirates.
Alright. Meanwhile, nothing has really changed in the actual game itself. Dysiode's still in massive risk. If he canceled this optimization, he'd be able to save himself. Chooses not to. And look, optimization center, it looks nice. It's all fancy. It's got a giant like laser thing coming out of it now. I don't even know. It's probably not very good in 1v1.
I can't see the benefit of optimization labs in 1v1s.
Look, when you go for an optimization center, you raise the price of chemicals. That gives your opponent an extra market to be in and lets you die faster. It's a good play.
Yeah, I mean, I see some 1v1 players building patent labs and chasing patents, and I do wonder, couldn't you be doing something more profitable?
Soren, are you still in chat paying attention? Yes? No?
Did Soren build a patent lab?
He might have.
Come on.
He might have.
He's old enough to know better.
Alright. There we are, just waiting for Gameslayer to pick up that last little bit of cash, and he is going to finish off Dysiode on the back of these chem refineries in game number 1. Huge amount of debt. If Dysiode didn't have that debt, Gameslayer can't finish him off that simply. That was really impactful, this game.
It was. I think the early found of the debt just really finished him off. And you've got to be so careful against a scavenger because they're just going to race through the upgrades and hit you with every black market they can possibly find. I mean, seeing there's nukes there, I mean, I would have really liked to see some nukes raining down on his carbon early on. That would have bought him some time.
Absolutely. I think that you're exactly right. That was the appropriate option this game for Dysiode to go forward. Nuke that medium carbon. No matter if you get a single other nuke hit this game, that is massive.
Yeah, that's what he needs. I mean, it just makes the game go a little bit longer. He's got a little bit of chance to develop his HQ and actually earn some money, because Scientific's an excellent HQ to take, but it's a longer term one. You do need a bit of extra time just to benefit from all your claims.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think scientists perform really well the longer the game goes. Then, like, frankly, you can occasionally build something like a patent lab if you're a scientist in 1v1, but you're talking about a really long game at that point for a 1v1 match.
Yeah, you've got to know that you can push that game into Sol 8, Sol 9 at the least.
And so that's kind of where the scientist, I think, really shines. But short of that, you can see Scavenger just tears through upgrades faster, better access to the black market. They've been having a good day so far, our Scavengers.
Yeah, Scavenger very, very powerful.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Move on to game number 2, see if we're going to end up in a game number 3 for our second series of the day. Hello, everybody, and welcome to game number 2 in our best of 3 series between Dysiode and Gameslayer. Man, those prices.
Yep, they're pretty high.
They're pretty darn high. This is interesting.
I think you're going to have to go for expansive or some kind of steel. Get a load of steel, buy up that cheap glass. If you can get an early move into steel, sell it all down, buy up the glass, you're set. You don't have to produce any glass all game long. You'll be stockpiling it at $40 a piece. Good move. But it's not looking the best.
Expansive colony found.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a good...
Gameslayer agrees with you.
It's probably about the best position on the map, I would say. I think it's probably has to be robotic for Dysiode, I think.
Yeah. Okay, he is going to go Scavenger. This is what I was going to say. If there weren't nukes on the map, I would have actually found it Scavenger long ago in that aluminum patch this game. You've got that $40 carbon price helping out. You're in a position where there aren't a lot of good silicon or water tiles. On HQ2, you can pretty easily secure some of those. Your opponent, as an expansive player, as an example, is stuck at trying to establish the rest of his steel market because he needs that desperately. He can't buy it this game. That's not an option.
No, you're going to hide into nothing if you try that.
So you can maybe establish some valuable resources, move into power, try and control that with these mutinies, power surges, and adrenaline boosts this game. You can make something out of the Scavenger here. Nukes make it a little nerve-wracking, but you're going to rely entirely on high tiles, so it's going to take 2 nukes minimum to knock you down to trace as a Scavenger.
Let's say with a handy goon squad on, at least goon squad, the one next to your base.
Yeah, well, do you do the one next to your base?
Yeah, because you can repurpose it later on.
Exactly.
And I don't like him taking that metal mine, that high iron. I don't see the advantage in...
Expansive colony.
Maybe if it was next to his base, perhaps, but going all that way to take that iron is a risky move, in my opinion.
Yeah, your opponent's already in 5.25 iron per second. I don't think the iron tile's a good decision, and he's locked into it now.
I mean...
There it is, already.
Bye-bye carbon. That's going to hurt.
Well, yeah, especially because he chose not to get another carbon tile yet. He does have one claim floating. He's going to need to commit to another one of these high carbons. But okay, so discussion very quickly. You said you would Goon Squad the close carbon, whereas I would Goon Squad a far carbon.
I'd just like to repurpose the Goon Squad later on.
So you want to repurpose the Goon Squad, where I'm more worried about being able to repurpose the tile itself, in case it does get nuked. So you're in an optimistic position where you don't think the Goon Squad's going to get hit. And I am just naturally assuming that about 6 nukes are going to rain down. And that tile's gone no matter what. This explains a lot about how we play the game.
Yeah, you see, you could afford to lose that one. The one out there. Once it's gone, it's gone.
See, I think you can afford to lose the close one. Because you can just turn it into something else. It's fine. I like seeing this like core philosophical to the approach to the game diverge, because I'm apparently a more pessimistic person than you are.
I like to see the best in things. I do see your point though. It is easier to repurpose it to anything you like. It's just a blank claim then. I can see it both ways. Extra claim 16 is gonna push it. He can afford to push it.
Yeah, he could push it. I think if I were Dysiode, I'd actually push that higher. He might be overreacting to last game, where debt annihilated him, but of course last game he started with 48,000 of it. You don't have that happening. That whole last game doesn't happen in that same way. Like, even if Dysiode did literally everything exactly the same, but started with the 0 debt instead of 48,000, he survives that game much, much longer, at least.
Yeah, but you can always buy it. I mean, claims are only three grand.
Man,
Yeah,
you're
a couple of people there.
really feeling the hurt. Like, Dysiode, he needs claims so desperately just to secure carbon. I mean, look at this. He only has 134 carbon, operating on 1 a second. He's had this geothermal locked down since HQ1, I believe, but hasn't been able to build anything on it, and power's approaching $300.
That's it. Power is just going to go ridiculous, and Gameslayer's got a couple of solar panels there, so he's going to benefit from those. Which I think a power surge would be good. Goon squadded though, so he's turned off his steel mills.
Well, yeah, I mean,
suppose if the power to run it, yeah.
it's almost $100 a second per steel mill right now.
Ouch. Yeah, understandably switched them off.
The iron is also turned off in the corner, just avoiding that fuel and power cost. $100. It is $100 a second to operate one of these iron mines. So,
wow.
That medium.
Yeah, both these players are going to get hurt by that high power price.
I do want to point out, look guys, we're going to take a moment while we wait for night to end and see what happens with power. Stop nuking high tiles. I'll kill you. Seriously. Like, I'll come into your games, I'll nuke all your medium tiles, and then you'll be dead and you'll be sad because it's better to nuke medium tiles. How many times do I have to say it?
Yeah, the
math.
Don't maths. Rubbish.
It's literally math. Turns out, did you know that 1.25 is higher than 1?
Only just. Only like 25% higher.
I don't know if I can actually prove that right now, because that would take some work. And it's really hard to actually prove things. But I'm going to assert that 1.25 is in fact higher than 1.
I think it is higher.
All right. I'm glad we can agree on that.
You see power surge come down, which was very fortunate. Knocked out those solar panels, so no power for you. But Gameslayer was very kind in shutting down Dysiode's reactors, so Dysiode's going to be saving a fair bit of money on those.
All right. Claim for Dysiode. He does have that geotherm down, but he's now in that sea level of debt.
You could do with putting a Goon Squad on it.
The black market is
Yeah,
on
Goon
fire.
Squad might be nice to see, especially with the adrenaline boost available. Well,
Whoops.
too little too late now.
Yep. Oh dear.
That's going to be painful.
Very
You can still get a
painful.
Goon Squad, but you're locked out of power until tomorrow, basically. I mean, when your opponent's, his panels are going to come back on, you're going to be in D level of debt. You're not going to be able to scavenger very hard.
No. And he's still got a big carbon shortage, isn't he? 1 per second. Just not doing him any favours. He's still got the claim. Get the claim. That's better. Excellent.
Yeah, he's got the carbon now.
Get the carbon in.
I mean, that's important, but man, What are you working with when you're Dysiode right now? You got these reactors available, and frankly, they're a lot more valuable than anything Gameslayer is doing, because Gameslayer literally isn't doing anything.
No, he's just trying to hold his position, isn't he? Trying to make a bit of money off power.
Yeah, well, he's not going to make money on power anytime soon, right? Like,
No. Stops his deck getting too bad, and hopefully runs his steel mills, which is still $100 a second, just for the power, which...
But the thing is, Gameslayer, I think, has the option of literally standing still and letting Dysiode just chop himself up.
Yeah.
As Gameslayer just holds the sword of power is huge and giant and expensive out in front of himself. It's just like... He doesn't have to do anything. He's not doing anything, but he doesn't have to.
No. He's just sitting there, isn't he? Dysiode D-level, D-debt, so there's no black market for him. He's at Gameslayer's mercy now. Geothermy's going to get mutinied or shut down. Hopefully he'll get mutinied.
2,000 a second off power.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Which means he might actually make some money on it today.
He might get his debt paid, mightn't he?
It's also important to note that he did go ahead and goon against getting hit too bad by power surges. I don't actually like this second goon because
Well, it's
not only do I expect my opponent to be, you know, lucky, I expect him to be intelligent most of the time. And he's not trying to intercept, right? He's just trying to block, and that's weird to me.
Well, the guy's in Dysiode's in D debts. He's not got any access to the black market.
He's gonna magically have stored 1 or 3 up. Like, I was playing a game yesterday against PB, and PB Founds, I think it was yesterday. PB Founds with like 50,000 dead. Literally 50,000 dead. And I'm like, alright, he's in D. It looks like he's been in D for a long time. I'm gonna mutiny his Geo. Goon squatted. And then somebody else has the exact same thought afterward, tries to mutiny his Geo. He's got another Goon squad. He's been sitting in D the whole time, and it's like...
He keeps them up his sleeves, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just sitting here going, I don't trust people in D debt anymore. They're always being tricky. Alright. Well, Dysiode's buying stock in himself. This is definitely a move I can agree with.
Oh, he needs to do it, doesn't he?
I mean, he's cheap. Why not?
Yeah.
You buy the cheap guy. Is it you? Alright, well, do it anyway. And also, fuel is insane.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like, I expected the fuel to come down one of these years. He's been auto-selling it literally the entire time. But there's just enough shipping being done.
Yeah, it's stayed very, very strong. Gameslayer, of course, isn't in any kind of life supports areas. He's just got his glass kilns up, which are not really making some money.
Gonna add to those. They'll be pulling in a decent amount once he's got the full triangle up, I think. But interesting that Gameslayer, by the way, committed to the high tile, wanted the high silicon. This might have been partially a reaction to nukes existing. Wanted the high silicon instead of the medium with adjacency potential. Big mistake, I think, on where these reactors are positioned.
Yep.
These could have easily been positioned to the north of Gameslayer's base. They're like on the other side of Diode's water pumps. It says, hey, if you're going to freeze all my stuff here like this, you got to freeze yourself too. A lot less of a likely play. But now, 3 steel mills and 4 reactors. How do you not throw power surges that direction?
It's just so inviting, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
goodbye
just
power.
Begging for it. Yep. Power's pretty much dead. That boost is going to help it all the way down.
Yeah, it's just... Alright, well, everybody's stuck in debt now. Good luck. Oh, adrenaline boost on the geotherm. I mean, it's not a bad thought. It is not goon squatted, though, so... Now, 33 seconds until... Look, power's going to be at $1 before attacking. That's going to be relevant, I guess.
Yeah, let's try and get some use out of it before it's dead.
No fear. No fear whatsoever. Everybody just wants this claim. Dysiode has done a solid job in a lot of ways of recovering from the ridiculous amount of debt he was in. He still has to be careful for the rest of this game. But the farms and reactors are just making so much money.
He's
staying alive.
Managed, really pulled himself out of trouble very, very well. he was looking decidedly, well, it was dicey, very dicey earlier, but he's come back quite nicely.
Dicey. Dysiode was in a dicey position, is that what you're telling me?
Oh, pun of the week.
That was really pathetic, actually, but we don't
I
even
wonder
worry about it.
what is he going to do with these 4 claims he's been sitting on for at least a minute?
Can't decide, apparently. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier.
He's
Way
gone into an
long time ago.
optimization center. Oh, come on.
Alright, well, Dysiode loses. Let's wait and see how long that takes. Actually, he's still in, like, because he's managed to secure his own stock and he's just making so much money, and Gameslayer never punished him for it, he's actually still in a pretty decent position. I would have loved to see Gameslayer sit here going, how can 3 water a second power 6 water structures? Maybe I should just buy literally all the water. Would have loved to see that play out of Gameslayer. It didn't happen. So now Dysiode's in a position where he's got all his own stock secured and he can feel free to get aggressive if he'd like to. This is going to keep Gameslayer from being able to upgrade easily. And now Gameslayer's the one in the awkward spot.
It's really flipped on its head, isn't it?
Now, I will say for Dysiode,
He could
If you're
snap
gonna-
up.
well, he has a
could
lot of
have
options.
Hey, if he sold down his carbon and his aluminium, he could snap up those other 2 shares. Well, he could have one of them.
He could turn his iron mine back on. That's an option.
Yeah, that would earn him
Just-
a little bit of money.
Just a thought. Finally, we see Gameslayer moving into more and more and more water, and this is where Dysiode's cash stops flowing. Finally.
Yeah, that's it.
Because that is the true water
Yeah,
price.
Mohawk
No
is just
shenanigans going about here. And Dysiode, he just doesn't have the water claims, I think, to actually stay in all these resources. He's going to have to find something else to do. Boosting the electrolysis reactor, not really the recommended course of action right now.
The food and the chems would have been a much better option, I think.
Man, it's really fortunate for him there are no network viruses this game.
He would be paying through the nose if they were.
Goodbye,
If the game
money.
over.
Every
Yeah.
time he gets a little money, it's just gone. Love it.
New patent up for auction. Bidding will begin at
Nanotechnology. This is so huge. This is so huge.
Be a nice little one for both of them, wouldn't it?
I think Dysiode needs this. I think he actually desperately needs this right now.
He's got to swap out, hasn't he? Got to swap his claims.
Yeah, he's got to be able to move something around. And on top of that, like we've been talking about all game, he just hasn't had a whole lot of carbon flowing. And so, carbon's very expensive. He wants to be able to hit HQ5, keep up with Gameslayer in that way. Nanotech opens that possibility up for him, and he's going to take it for 16,000.
He could quite easily move into HQ level 5. There we go. He's got the carbon for it. Or he had. He had the upgrade there. But I think he was buying too much water for it.
Well, he also, I believe, adrenaline boosted out his water, which is a good move. Certainly. I mean, he needs the water desperately. He got his farms turned off, at least in this moment. There it is. Now, this carbon shortage is just weird to me. I don't know if I'd be happy or sad about this as the scavenger right now. I think happy. Long term, it's more money.
I think you take the cash where you can get it, don't you? And Gameslayer slipped into D levels of debt.
He has
Even though
indeed.
he's got his off-world market going up, but even so.
All right, pulled back into C. I actually really want to see.
Well, he had to, didn't he? The interest
Yeah,
tick
exactly.
was 30% would be painful.
Yeah, that was scary. All right, optimization center for Dysiode. Now this is much better this game than most optimization centers, because usually when the player throws down an optimization center, the game is over by now. He's got water and fuel done, heading into oxygen and chemicals afterward.
Yeah, that's okay. I can see that.
The black market.
Now,
is
I think the
online.
only reason Dysiode's actually survived this long this game is because Gameslayer can't stop selling water when it's this expensive. He just can't stop himself.
Yeah, he's got to bring that water price down, help his opponent out. Who's going for another farm? Oh, that's. Oh, with that water price, I would be not so keen, I'll be honest. Oh, the dust storm comes. Oh dear.
That's painful again.
Yeah.
Adrenaline boost is farmed, Gameslayer. Do it.
Yesterday I was thinking that would be a perfect move.
Man, if there were network viruses around, like, I talked with Soren about this at one point. Soren really likes the idea of being able to adrenaline boost your opponent's stuff when they screw up. Yeah, I think he would love to see a network virus adrenaline boost on these farms right now.
It'd be good to do it just for bragging rights. How much is he losing on those farms? A lot.
A lot. But not anymore. I think he got him turned off now. That's good. No, they're still active. Never mind. They just... Okay. They turned off because he didn't have the money to keep them operational anymore. That's what happened.
Well, I can see he's losing 7.5 second water, and he's gaining, or he was gaining 0.6 of food a second.
Goodbye money.
You're saying about maths again?
Math is a very complicated topic. But as it turns out, if you can't do the math for the game, I recommend you look at the colors, right? Red ones are bad, typically.
It was easy. 7 times 3 is 2100, and 0.6 times 3 is basically 1.5.
Did you just say 7 times 3 is 2100? What school did you go to?
The ones that you don't have to count zeros.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, but very roughly, it's 21, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's
yes.
300. 300 times 7 is 2100.
I gotta take these shots when they come to me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, make the most of it while you can.
So, really back and forth game here. But at this point, Dysiode's $250,000 in debt. Gameslayer's not quite $250,000 in debt. Both players decided that after Power, it seems, got expensive, it was never going to do that again, so they just stopped making it, for the most part.
I'm quite confused how Gameslayer was talking himself up yesterday, and
Oh. Well, that's an aggressive statement, I would say.
well, yeah. Maybe I'm not being fair to Gameslayer, but he hasn't done as well as I thought he would have done on this map.
He's winning the series 2-0. In just a moment here, it looks like he only needs that much money
Wow, that's redemption for him. Fair play.
in order to take the game and the series.
Yeah, could have done better. A win's a win, though. You mustn't grumble against a win.
A win is definitely a win. Gameslayer takes it. Can't take that away from him whatsoever. That is going to be a 2-0 victory in the series on over to him. And he is going to move on forward in order to face the winner of Heisenberg and Dubin, which I'm actually thoroughly looking forward to.
I think that's going to be a very good game. When is that scheduled for? Do we know?
I think it might be listed somewhere. I don't know it off the top of my head. All right, I'm going to report scores. Get all this done so fast. It's going to blow you guys' mind. Gameslayer wins 2-0.
Well done, Gameslayer. Well done.
Done.
Dysiode's very well played as well. I really thought he was finished there early on, but came back and really challenged, really pushed Gameslayer at the end there.